Okay, so we're gonna start with our revision on chapter 1. We're still in chapter 1 measurement, but we already discussed about graph relationship. So now we're gonna do more about graph, especially analysis of the graph. What information extract from apart from the relationship that we discussed before. So there's many ways that you can do with. First, here we can the relationship based on the shape of the graph. It is touch the zero or not? Is it touch the origin or not? If it touch the origin, then that's mean it might be a proportional relationship. It is not, then it might be linearly increase or linearly decrease or probably inversely proportional. And we already looked at that before this. So let's see about know from the graph. We can do interpolation. By interpolation, given value of x, find y, or given value of y, given y. It's very straightforward, but many people to do smart because they don't show the words. They need to show where the points lies on the straight line, and then to respective axis. That is a very important word to show when do interpolation. But interpolation is very. Number 3, extrapolation. Basically, you need to draw a new line based on previous line. For example, if the graph is like this, then you might need to draw until the axis, the intercept. You need to find the intercept by drawing extrapolated line, or you can draw extrapolated line in this direction instead. The way is called extrapolation, and the value of you can find gradient. Again, all the equations that we already discussed before about equation of straight line, including the gradient, the proportionality. For example, y is directly proportional to x. Then if we want to remove the proportionality sign, we can replace it with an equal sign, but we must add a proportional constant here. Proportional constant. In this case, the proportional constant usually equal to which is little m, most of the case. So most of the case, so we need to find the gradient of the graph. It's very important. The formula is simple: y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. It's simple as that. Make sure you do the correct unit. The y-axis unit, the x-axis unit. Important. Okay, lastly is area under the. This is also important in terms of motion. And extra or energy work done force distance graph. Okay. Or impulse graph, impulse times graph as well. So many of the application here that requires us to calculate the area under the graph. So basically, gradient is the operation of division, but area is the operation of multiplication. So the inverse relationship between gradient and area, as we can see from motion. For example, line graph, the gradient of the graph divided by t, the gradient is actually acceleration, whereas the area under the graph, which is the base time height, or the base is time, the height is v, v times t is displacement. So area under the graph is also an important thing that you can extract from the graph apart from the gradient. So it's very important in terms of the motion graph. We already learned about that before. And also some of the future force displacement for spring or elastic material, force time graph for impulse or impulsive force, work done graph or something like that. But mostly we focus on the for area under graph, we focus on the spring. Okay, so let's try to answer some of the question. Basically, the question is related to paper 3 that requires us to analyze the graph. An experiment to determine the density of a liquid and the volume V of a cylinder. The result of this experiment is a mass of liquid. This is against that of cylinder rod immersion. So this is basically the manipulated, one of the manipulated variable, the responding variable, and this is the manipulated variable. So whenever we see something against something, RV against MV. So let's see the graph on page 10. So basically the next page, here the graph. This is basically the graph. See the silver. And this is RV. This is RV. And then this is the M. And we see first, the first step we need to see is the shape of the graph. So basically it's straight line and it says 0 here. So that means the relationship is directly proportional. V is directly proportional to MV. Then you can answer the first question here. Based on the graph, you need to take the relationship between M and D. So basically M is directly proportional to D. You can also write directly proportional without the M and D, but I recommend that you write it in full. You don't need to make it mass. It's just that. You can just use the symbols. Number 2, okay, determine the mass of the liquid. This and that the cylinder is 6. So this is basically interpolation. Given the x values, you need to find the y value. This is the y value, this is the x. So just do the interpolation, but make sure that you show on the graph how you determine it. This is very show the work, how they can find the values. So basically, we need to find the x. So what you need to do, you need to draw dash line using your ruler. Straight, make sure it's straight line using your ruler, yeah. Trace back all the lines. So these are all straight lines. And then follow that line until here, and then need to read the values here. We see basically 51, 52, 53.0, and it is gram. 53.0 gram. So here 53.0 gram. This is very important, the units. Then we got 2 marks. First, the show, the dash line is 1 mark, and then the answer with the correct unit is another 1 mark. So for a total of 2 marks. So number 3, calculate the gradient. So how you going to show? You have to draw a triangle 8 box minimum. Here it means that 8 cm, 8 cm. Not the smallest one, the 1 cm. What I mean is basically we have this probably 0.1 cm or not 0.2 cm. And this over here is 1 cm. And then this hole here is 2 cm. So basically just or 4 2. So you need to draw the triangle 1 2 3. This is sufficient, but I like to go further. Just use all. Make sure you draw it using your ruler. Yeah, this is better. You just do all of it, all the graph. More accurate result. Then coordinates. So this is the SS 11.0. So 99, 98, 97. And then this is 0, 0. Now we can plug in those values in our gradient formula. Equal to the y2 minus y1 over minus xy. Y2 is 97. 0 minus x2 is what? 11. 0 minus 0. Then we need to include the unit as well. G. And the x at z's unit is centimeter. cm. So plug that into your calculator. You got 8.1 8.8 1 8. Can go for decimal place and don't forget the units. Okay. So 3 marks here. Make sure it meets the requirement, the minimum requirement. Number 2 is this one over. Number 3 is this one with the correct unit. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The density of the liquid roll is given the formula where A is gradient of the graph. The value of A is this. Calculate the value of density of liquid. So this is a question that requires us to use the answer that we already obtained before. In this case, gradient. So what happens if your answer is incorrect? So that you must do the calculation correctly. You enter the numbers in your calculator correctly because your answer is incorrect for the gradient. Let's say that you plug in it wrongly and then you got wrong answer. You can still use that answer, but only for 1 mark. It's not for the final answer. It's for the calculation mark, the working. If you has the correct value of k, the gradient that we then you can obtain maximum of 2 if you do the formula correctly. So in this question, just to grow, the first question that you should ask to yourself is, do you need to rearrange the formula? In this case, no. You just plug in all the values that given or obtained before. So the value of k that you obtained before is 8. 8.2 GCM. Don't forget that area is 7 cm squared. And then plug in that into the calculator. And then you got 1.597 unit GCM negative 3. So the answer, you must write it with the correct unit. Only 2 marks, basically. Plug in the values, 1 mark, and the answer, final answer with the correct unit is another 1 mark. Okay, so C. The mass of liquid is M given by formula. This is another formula. Using the answer in 2B. So basically, we need to use the before again. In SI unit, when mass of liquid displaced is 80. So us to calculate the V. So again, if your answer is wrong, it only for the first mark only if you use the. But if your answer is correct, then you probably can get a maximum of 3 marks. So make sure that you do it very carefully. Make sure that you don't do any mistakes, because this question is very chain to each other. There has some kind of connection to each other. So use the previous answer that you obtained. The first question that it is necessary to rearrange the formula. So we need B here. This side is not the subject of the formula. So that is, yes, we need to rearrange the. So M equal to B. So to rearrange B. So that means row is must be divided. M divided by rho. And then after we can all the values given. So for M is given by 80 gram. The row is what we found earlier. So again, if answer is wrong, then you only get 1 mark. No more than that. So 80 divided by the answer, you got 6.51. So 3 marks. 1 mark. Answer is 1 mark. Okay, to make sure that you obtain the correct value. Finally, the last question always gonna be precaution, and then the answer must be the same format for all experiment that have a certain specific precaution, but we don't really pay attention to that. We just use the same answer for all. You don't need. If you interested, you can do about that later. So these step 1 precaution should be taken to improve the accuracy of the result of this experiment. Mass on against depth mass gram. So we can use this term. So depth is measured. What are the measuring instruments used to measure the depth? Okay, one of it is meter rule. Okay, so we can say that make sure your eyes are perpendicular reading of meter to a point parallax error. Okay, so this is all experiments. What you need to change is only measuring instrument. So in this case, if you use meter rule, then you will to measuring cylinder. If you use meter, then you have to change to meter, etc. That is the easy one that you can remember. Make sure that you all the words perpendicular reading scale for parallax error. So all of these things, including measuring instruments, are needed for the one mark. If you think one, then you probably have no mark for it. Okay, so that's all for today. We're gonna still continue with this type of question. So stay tuned and see you soon.